In our last video, we were in the border queen town of Caldwell, Kansas. We learned about Caldwell's wild days as a cow town in Kansas that served as a jumping off point to the Oklahoma land rush days. In today's video,
we're in Enid, Oklahoma.
All right, I'll get us started. If you've watched our videos, you know we really prefer to focus on the heart of the downtowns, and Enid is no exception, so we went straight to the downtown, parked, and just started walking our way around this really cool northern Oklahoma city. As always, Kara, why don't you give us a little history of this town?
If you watched our previous video in Caldwell, Kansas, you learned a little bit about the Cherokee Outlet and Land Run of 1893. Enid was founded as part of that land run, and it became the county seat of Garfield County. It has a population of just under 50,000, and of note, it has the third largest grain storage capacity in the world.
So we're coming to the Broadway Tower. This is Enid's tallest building at 15 stories. It was constructed in 1931 and is a perfect example of that Art Deco style. Sadly, this building is no longer in use. We talked to a local who said that it's been closed for at least 20 years, so I don't know the exact date on it, but as you can see, it's still standing, still very prominent. I always have mixed feelings because I'm sad that this building hasn't been repurposed and is no longer in use, but then on the flip side, I'm happy that it still exists because it is an outstanding building, and I really hope at some point in the near future somebody will do something with it, especially given its prominence in the downtown skyline. It served as Garfield County's temporary courthouse from 1932 to 36 after a fire destroyed the original one, and in 1985 it was put on the National Register of Historic Places, so I guess it's going to be around for a while whether Enid uses it or not.
We're coming upon the Little Sisters of Liberty, a miniature replica of the Statue of Liberty, which sits in front of the courthouse. In 1949, the Boy Scouts of America made over 200 of these that were installed in various locations across the U.S. This particular statue was donated by the Great Salt Plains Council in 1950 and installed on the Garfield County Courthouse lawn, where it stood for more than 60 years before it was damaged in a storm in 2014. An Enid Boy Scout undertook the repair and reinstalled it on the lawn a year ago in March of 2021.
I would describe the heart of downtown Enid like a grid with the Randolph, Broadway, and Main comprising the main streets through it. Like most downtowns, you'll find a variety of restaurants, bars, some retail, and there's even a museum down there and a little park we'll get to here really soon called Leonardo's.
Speaking of museums, if history's your thing, Simpson's Old Time Museum is located downtown on Randolph Avenue. Unfortunately, it was closed when we were there, but looking online, it looks like it has some neat exhibits.
Visiting small downtowns like this is always a bit hit or miss as far as whether their buildings have basically become dilapidated and the downtown's all but abandoned, or if it's still alive and well. As you can see from the videos, Enid is very much alive and well with all the old buildings very much in use, so it was very pleasant to find that on this particular journey.
So I mentioned the land rush earlier, and not many cities know the exact date and time of their birth. Enid went from a population of 0 to 10,000 in one day in what is still known as the largest competitive event in U.S. history.
Okay, here's another fun fact courtesy of the city's website, and it's regard to how it got its name. There's sort of two theories floating out there. Most believe it was a railroad official that named it Enid after the heroine in the Alfred Lord Tennyson novel Idylls of the King. The local folklore, however, says that a dyslexic restaurant owner misspelled the word dine outside of the restaurant, therefore making Enid the town's name.
Here we are in front of Leonardo's, which is a hands-on children's museum with special emphasis on arts and science. Although it was closed that day, we ran into the manager in the parking lot, and she was so helpful and informative about giving us information about the city of Enid.
So if you're in the area and you have kids, by all means, take them to this awesome little museum. Okay, back to our fun facts. This one is regarding John Wilkes Booth. So the history books, of course, say that John Wilkes Booth was killed in a barn in Virginia 2 weeks after he assassinated President Lincoln. Enid, however, would argue that that is not true. In 1903, 37 years after Lincoln's assassination, a man by the name of David E. George committed suicide in Enid. On his deathbed at the Grand Hotel, which is now the Garfield Furniture Store, George declared he was John Wilkes Booth. To this day, the Booth family believes their ancestor died right here in Enid.
After a brief stop for lunch at Callahan's Irish Bar downtown, we continued our exploration. Here is the Gaslight Theater. It was founded in 1966, and it is one of Oklahoma's oldest and most active community theaters. It's still in use even though it's currently under renovation.
Enid is the home of Vance Air Force Base, and approximately 1/3 of all Air Force pilots get their training at this Air Force Base.
Okay, I was surprised to learn that more Philly cheesesteak sandwiches are produced in Enid than in any other town in the world, including Philadelphia, thanks to Advanced Pierre Food Company, which is the largest producer of school lunch food in the U.S.
So it was a beautiful, albeit very windy day in Enid, a cute little city in northern Oklahoma. And with that said, it's time to wrap it up. All right, what'd you think of Enid, Oklahoma?
I liked Enid. What I liked about their downtown is that they have a lot of old buildings that are still in use. Now, they haven't been gentrified or anything, but I love that they're still being used. So I thought downtown Enid was fun.
Cute little town in the Oklahoma Panhandle. Party foul. It's not in the Panhandle. It's just in northern Oklahoma. Get off the couch. See you next time.
Cheers.